Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode, I think it's 5 now, of 25 with Tech 25. I'm Tim Higgins. I'm Secretary of District 25, joined by
Andrew Benton, I'm Data and Systems Specialist for the district.
Chris Fano, Director of Technology.
I'm Jacob Smith, and I'm a student at TMS.
So we are lucky enough today to have Jake sitting in here. We have him over here because of career connections. He's shadowing the tech department here, and wanted to sit in. And the nice thing about it is we get sort of a rare perspective for 25 with Tech 25, which is the student perspective.
It's a great way to start off any broadcast, not only with one of our own, but to help our pre-celebration for the Cubs game that's coming up later this evening too. You start off your celebration with a little 25 with Tech 25, and then you roll into your nighttime activities. So we're excited all around, I think.
Absolutely, I would say so.
I wonder how many views we'll get between 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock tonight.
Probably none of it. I know Chris Fano will not be watching.
I will not be watching.
Yeah. So anyhow, collaboration, getting feedback, giving feedback. It's what we're here to talk about today.
It's what good managers and good teachers do.
Right, correct. So thank you in advance to Chris Fano for drawing everything back to baseball here throughout our episode. And so the first thing we kind of want to start talking about is actually something that I wanted to ask Jake a little bit about, which is at school, how do teachers give you guys feedback on the work that you guys are doing?
Well, some do it online on Google Docs, or if I just post a Google Doc and I share with them, they can just comment and it'll show what I need to improve on. But others they pass you back your, if it's on paper, just tell you what you need to improve.
Right. And so today we're going to kind of show a little bit about how the feedback, the comments, suggestions, and a kind of a cool add-on that we know about works inside of Google Drive. And we'll get to it right now. I'm going to kind of hand it over to Andrew Benton here to walk us through.
Lead off hitter.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, so it is cool that we're having Jake here because I'm going to show you just basic the tools for leaving comments or leaving comments or suggestions for a Google Doc. And then Jake's actually going to show you examples of what his teacher has actually done. So if I'm in a Google Doc, this one happens to be shared with me. You know what? I'm not going to do a sheet right now. I'd rather do. Yeah, I'm gonna do this one first. So this is a document that is shared with this person. So if you're contributing this to if you're sharing this with other people, they can contribute their comments or suggestions. It's important to notice this drop down up here. If you're in editing and this person shared the document with you and you highlight this area and just start typing, you actually alter their document. So you're editing the document. If you switch this to suggesting, then you highlight this area. You come up, you click on comments, and you click on a comment. You see this little box popped up, and what you're doing is for that highlighted section, you're going to type something out, and that suggestion will be offered. Once we click this button, it'll be offered to the user, whoever this document may be shared with. So if we click on this yellow highlight, we see that this little thing, watch how that happened. We click on it, this little thing kind of shifted over and said, this is in relation to this highlighted area. If we are in editing and then simply take this bullet and we actually just click on comment, click on comments and then comment. Same thing, I'll just type anything. So we're making comments as we go on the person's writing. If we have a general comment, you can do the same thing for the whole document. If I do click through, as I mentioned, you'll see these things are popping in saying that that's what we are talking about. If you click on comments, the button, you'll actually see the entire thread of comments that people have made. Also, under this comments, if you click on the notifications, you can say, I would like to be notified if somebody makes a comment on this document to me, or just to me, or you can say all comments that are made on this document, I'd like to be notified. You're actually going to get an email saying that somebody did offer suggestion or comment. This viewing, I should mention, it's really just, you know, taking away all the highlights and basically just offering up what the document will look like after maybe some edits or suggestions or comments were made. Okay. So I'm going to take you over to a Sheets document because that was obviously a docs. And if we look at, see, yeah, right. So in Sheets, you can do the same thing. This happened to be a document that was already had comments on it. And if I look at these little tick marks, that's how it works in Sheets. The cell will have a little tick mark. If you click on it, you will actually see what that person might have said to you. If you want to reply to it and say, reply to that comment. If you click reply, you're starting sort of a conversation between the person who made the comment and yourself. And again, notifications will take place even based on that. One of the things may be, if I can edit this, let's just say that I actually said really good info. I have changed. We can actually click the resolve button and that comment is resolved. So while that thread was down here, if we come up here, we can actually see that the comment happened, my reply happened, I said I change it, and we see that it's been resolved. Yeah, marked as resolved right here. So what I'm going to do now is jump over to Jake's document. This is a real assignment that he did right from the his class, and his teacher responded to him, and he'll show you where and how.
So I resolved it because I fixed it, but it's right here. It wasn't really something that I needed to fix. It was just some kind of comment. Doesn't always have to be something that you need to fix. Could just be something like good job, or I liked how you used that, and I marked it as resolved, and that's how it doesn't show up here anymore on the document. But
yeah, and it's a great way to kind of, you know, if students are out of school for whatever reason, to kind of keep up that ability to communicate, to give feedback, to kind of work through assignments and make things better, as, you know, even without the face-to-face, you know, in-person situation. It allows sort of for you to almost get a little bit more time with instruction outside of your, you know, whatever it is, 40 minutes if you're a middle school teacher, or, you know, time that you have in class with students.
And obviously, if it's a document shared between you and your colleagues, the same thing can happen. It's true collaboration where rather than maybe altering their words, you can at least suggest it. They can take that suggestion and take it or leave it. And so it can obviously be a point of collaboration where you guys are able to communicate to each other without really changing anything on the document.
Absolutely. So also another great Google tool that we've mentioned in the past that can be used for both gaining information from colleagues, but it can also be used in sort of an assessment role as well, is going to be Google Forms. So again, like building any new document, you click the new button, come down to more if you don't see it in this initial drop down, and you click on Google Forms, where it lets you set up a form. And so if we call this quiz 1, you know, put in your question, who's going to win tonight? Keeping on our baseball theme that Mr. Fano has slacked on a little bit as he is working very diligently on his section of presentation tonight. We hit done. You know, you can always kind of liven things up by adding a theme. You get to see how the form looks. If you view the live form, this is how it will show up. And then a kind of a neat thing, especially if you're looking to get, you know, kind of do an assessment with a class. If you click on the send form and use this section here. Now, this is where we had mentioned last week how to go into Google Groups, an application in Google, create different groups. You'd actually be able to put together, you know, especially if you're a middle school teacher and have different classes of kids, make email groups for, you know, period 3 class, period 4 math, whatever. You'd be able to add your group in here, type in a message, and you would be able to send your quiz along via email, which is nice because it doesn't even involve having to, you know, go to your shared with me section. If we head on over here to email, I should hopefully have just received this little quiz. That is actually right within the email, so I can just have an answer, submit it, and if I click on my view responses, it kicks me right into a Google form that has timestamp and date for when this form is turned in, so you can add, you know, have a due date on it. You know right away if somebody didn't complete their work when they were supposed to, and then you have your answers laid across the form here. So again, it's a great way of just getting information even from your staff, whether, you know, you're putting together a t-shirt form for some sort of event, but you can also use it as an assessment of your students. Okay. One thing that we're going to actually jump back to is back in Drive. Is a kind of a neat add-on that goes along the route of this, you know, feedback with comments and suggestions, but gives you like a little voice option in here.
Okay, great. We've actually already talked a little bit in previous episodes about add-ons. This is a really cool add-on. So while we've talked about comments where you're just doing sort of textual, you can actually create this little, go get this little add-on. It's called Kaizena, K-A-I-Z-E-N-A.
Remember, you can always do that from the Get Add-ons section in that Add-ons drop-down.
Get add-ons, and you would search on K-A-I-Z-E-N-A. In this case, because I've already added it, we won't take you through that again. I'm just going to open it. And what I'm going to do is notice that you can say I'm a teacher, I'm a student. I'm going to say I'm a student.
And the great thing with any of these add-ons is students are able to add add-ons to their accounts as well. So if you find a great add-on that might work really well for a class, you can have an entire class of students go into add-ons. They don't need any sort of special permission to be able to incorporate that into their account. They can just add it without any trouble. It's an extra step or two.
Right, so somebody already left one for me. So this is the green. You see that it's green, and if I click on it and then play the actual teacher audio.
We are getting huge.
Okay, so there's actual audio. You can actually reply to this audio.
You may have to allow a microphone or for the Google Drive for the app to use different features of your computer.
And so if you really wanted to have sort of an actual, from your own voice, literally, narrative for the student or for your colleagues, whatever, on the document, it doesn't have to be textual. You can actually use Kaizena, an add-on for Google, for the Docs application. It doesn't work in Sheets, I learned. You'll be able to do that.
Cool. Thank you, Andrew. Excellent. So all sorts of different ways of sort of for teachers and students to interact with one another. We're actually going to move on to the next sort of thing that's actually outside of Google. You'll be able to log into it and get an account with your Google sign in. But it's a site, or it's a site and application called Weebly. And Weebly allows you to put together websites, basically, to host all sorts of information. You can embed YouTube videos into it, do all sorts of different things with Weebly. And so this is Caitlin Fikes, one of our tech facilitators. She works at Greenbrier and Ivy Hill. This is the site that she's built to both. You can see that you can add pages to communicate with staff, pages for students, and all sorts of information can be displayed here in a really sleek, nice looking website. And it's a pretty easy thing to do. And what I'm going to do too, the nice kind of cool thing, it's easy. Our students also have access to this. And Jake let me know a little while ago that he actually put a Weebly together last year for a Genius Hour project that I'm going to have him show you right now. Yeah, there it is, right up.
Going into the bullpen now.
So, what? I don't know. Tell the folks what your project, I guess, was basically about, and just sort of how easy it is to add a video to a page.
Well, my project was on stats, and so I did these, and then because it was so easy, I ended up having time to add videos, YouTube videos, whatever video you want to do. And then without even telling a lot of people, I ended up getting people from like Germany and people like logging into the website and paying attention to it and all, tuning in weekly for it.
It's a pretty neat way to sort of to share, whether it's a student portfolio of work or if it's an entire teacher's classrooms projects and work, to be able to share it out, whether it's to parents or to the community at large.
So can you show? How do you know who visited your site when you said maybe from Germany? Is there a report you get, or do they leave comments?
It says like stuff like you can check your stats and see if there's not unknown but local visitors, and then people that.
And so with Weebly, if you just go to Weebly.com and sign up, obviously, for the first time, but if you want to just log in, you can easily log in. If you're looking just for the first time to become a Weebly member, you can click on that little red login for Google and use your actual district credentials to log in. In this particular case, for this particular project, Jacob had made a different website to log in for.
Well, and I hope while he's logging in that people notice that he unchecked the Remember Me box.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart tech tip for the day.
Yes.
This is not his computer, public access, and so that username and password won't be remembered.
Yeah, it says unique visitors for this week, and I haven't even updated it, and people have just checked into it by searching. Page views, it doesn't tell you local, but you can just tell that unique visitors are from like, if they just come from like different states or different countries or whatever, that's where they come from. And then like on unique people like that maybe I've told about the website, whatever, that have viewed it in my area.
Is there a spot on here at all for comments that you know of, or is that something you can turn on and off?
You can turn it on, but I didn't. But there's also surveys you can add on here. And
so on Jake's front page, he had a survey just asking about a couple different pieces of information. And it's another great way to get feedback from people who are visiting your site. It's, again, from a teacher perspective, if there's information on here, you can actually add assessments right into the pages of information.
And then you can edit the site straight from logging in, and then you don't have to recreate it. You can the layout's really easy, and you can just add stuff like this, like YouTube. You just grab a YouTube URL, and you can just put in here and click on it and add the URL, and then it just goes straight into it.
Nice.
So yeah, very easy drag and drop sort of interface to make really sleek looking presentations. Again, either for highlighting your classroom, you're building your department, or having all of your students build their own sites to sort of showcase their work and the things that they are interested in and passionate about. So thank you, Jacob, for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And so I think we're going to end here on something that's a new service that we have going on here this year.
Yeah, well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. We're getting the late innings here. Bring in your closer, make things happen. And what I do want to talk about today is another form that you can collect data and interact with students around assignments and around activities that are going on in your classroom. It's all about blended learning. So one thing that we are looking at continuing to add would be different models that will support a blended learning environment for you and your students. And what we're going to look at today very, very briefly is a product called Schoology. And this is a platform that has a lot of different components to it, but what we really wanted to do today was highlight more of the feedback and commenting features that are available. So I'm going to make sure we log out, because one of the nice things about this particular service is it is integrated with our Google Apps account. Okay, so when you log in, every teacher, again, would have their own classes and their own accounts with students that get uploaded from our student management system. And in the system itself, you will have actual classes, academic classes that you're working on, but you can also have groups. So for example, out of my account, we do have a tech team group, and we have a technology facilitator group. These groups are not necessarily academic based. You can create them for sports teams, for extracurricular activities, or for certain projects that you're doing. And what this allows you to do, in this case, again, we're going to highlight some examples in which you can communicate within your group and get feedback. So every group, regardless of what it's about, has two sections that we wanted to highlight. Number one would be the update section. So in here, any member of the group could post an update. A new meeting has been added, a new highlight has been created, we've posted a video on YouTube, go check it out. And what you can see is it's very diverse in terms of what you can add. You can link files, you can put web links, you can also put audio or video recordings right into the update itself. And then it creates, in essence, a thread that other members of the group can go back and comment on. So you can add a comment in back to what someone wrote, or you can also give it a like and say that you enjoyed whatever, someone's perspective or feedback. So this is a quick and easy way in every group and in every class that you can give and receive updates and feedback based on any topic you'd want. The second area I want to highlight is under the second tab here for this group, and it's called the discussion. So in any discussion you can set up, again, this applies to whether you're doing an academic class or a separate group, you can create a discussion topic around something like, will the Cubs win the World Series, as a random topic. And you can, again, describe that in any which way you want and add resources, but what it really does is just generate this discussion area that anybody else in that group or class can write a comment, and then things like you could highlight the user as being like a wonderful comment or some excellent feedback. So both of these are available, again, two different ways of approaching feedback and collaboration, but both are available whether you're in a class or you're in a group. Now we've got a couple minutes before we would have to go into extra innings, so I'm not going to go deep, but I do want to show you one other quick thing real quick. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to jump over here to longtime excellent teacher, Lori Palm, who I saw earlier today, so I don't think she'll mind at all if I jump in here. So you can see for every teacher, you have a set of courses. Now, what we're going to end with is just showing that the feedback loop and the ability to comment does not just end with things like updates. So again, here's the update for this particular class that you could roll with and interact with students. But it really goes into things like the materials that you create and doing assignments. So this platform, for example, allows you to create assignments. So here we'll just do a sample assignment. Leave out whatever parameters you want to have in there, it doesn't matter. And what I want to draw your attention to is that in this assignment, okay, you have a couple of things that teachers can, or students can comment or write or ask questions about what that assignment would be. And then you'll see here in this yellow box, it says to return files to students, attach them to comments by clicking on a student's name in the submissions area above. So as students go to these assignments, fill them out and create them, the teacher has the ability to then say, was it done on time? Is it already in the grade book? Or provide comments back to them saying that maybe they have to fix this section or they'd have to, answer the following questions correct because they didn't get it right. So even within the assignments area, there's opportunities to be able to provide meaningful feedback to students and be able to connect them with their learning outside of the classroom as well. So again, that's just a real sliver of what Schoology can do for you. Just to make it clear for everybody, we're not using this on a regular basis yet, but it will be coming. And if you're interested in learning more about it, please contact me. Please contact me and we'll be able to make sure you get hooked up correctly.
And taking us out is Jake. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Go Cubs.